It's Thursday night. You know what that means. We're going to be live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what we're going to be talking about tonight other than maybe why am I dressed like this? So come join us and find out. Love y'all. See you in a little bit. Is my light good or do I need a little more light? Let's see here. See if we can get a little more light in here. Whoa. Too much. Where's the negative? There we go. Is that a little better? I kind of liked it better before. Wait a minute. Sorry. It got dark. I don't want the white. There we go. There, that's not bad. Hi Bridget. And I see, oh, hi little tiny flower. Hi sweetheart. I've missed you too. I'm getting on my FYP a little more than I have, but I'm gonna have to go to people's pages and watch and like and interact with some of their videos. Who's that just popped in here? I see little tiny flower, but somebody else. Oh, that's you, little tiny flower. And hi, ZZ Hughes Life Easy. ZZ Hugh Life. I have no idea what that says. I need Diane. Hi, I didn't see that. Hi, Ruth Miller and Bet Schuler. Oh, thank you. I'm wearing my Uncle Walter's overalls. I have a story about that actually. and I have them on with, yeah, I do have lace on with overalls, but what it reminded, hi Jocelyn, hi David Hagan and Galt and Trump Blows. Mark, thank you for joining us. And Terry and Kay. Oh, thank you, Lillian. Thank you, Lillian. I appreciate it. But when my oldest two daughters, thank you so much. My oldest, hi, Cotto. Hi, Cotto. His name is Carter. It's just we say it like that. Yeah, my grandson Carter. See, Carter, I can't even say your name right. I want to say Cottle. He just popped in. Hello, sweetheart. Hi, Donna. Hi, Stevie. But when my oldest two daughters, not so much with my youngest daughter, Alexis, when they were little, I had overalls for them. They wore overalls almost all the time because they would be handed down from, because my grandmother used to always buy them overalls all the time, and they would get handed down, so she had several pair, and I would always put them on her with these frilly little pink tops, you know, with you know, little ruffles and lace. I like that contrast, and that's how I dressed her. There's a lot of her pictures. Hi Jim, Kate, and Mike Dugan, thank you, and Butterfly Days, thank you, Bruce Tomlinson, thank you for joining us, and Terry Godfrey, and Gladys. I had an Aunt Gladys. Hi, Purple Moose, and Christina Long. Thank you guys for joining us, and Bram Blepp, and Sharon, thank you, and Tamara, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah. I have a story to tell later when one of my friends gets here about the overalls and that whole story. Hi, Glitter Klutz. If you guys go back and look at, actually I think the video's pinned to the top of my page. If you go look at the video pinned to the top of my page, that's why I was wearing overalls actually. And then I decided I wanted to wear them tonight. Carter, you like the overalls? They're not mine. They're Uncle Walter's. He let me borrow them. I'm not real good with the adjusting these things. Hi, Mike. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for joining us. And Jojo Lily, thank you for joining us. And hi, Shelly. Is my Shelly here yet? I haven't seen her. Let's see. Yep. Hi, Shelly. Shelly, I wanted to tell you, there's actually a couple of Shellys here, but I'm talking to DJ Shelly Shell, my moderator. Shelly, did you know that Craig was in the hospital? I'm not sure. Hi, Shelly Crow from East Tennessee. Thank you for joining us. I'm in Kentucky, Shelly. Did you see that? I haven't looked today to see if Lou put any updates, but and I don't know exactly what was wrong with him. I was speculating. I let Shauna know, because you know Shauna's not on Facebook, so I let her and Gary know. Gary's on Facebook though, but I don't know if he's friends with Lou and Craig. But anyway, now it's gonna tell a story about you, Shelly, because I was thinking about, I'm on my last box of tissue. Apparently I haven't been buying tissue because I had to get, there's a box in the car and then a spare box in the car. I had to get the box out of my car because I guess I haven't been buying tissue, so I'm down to my last box. And I usually have like a box in the car. Oh, thank you. Is that Clee Greg? KLI Greg? Thank you. Yeah, I like them. I said I'm going to get my own pair because my Uncle Walter made it very clear to me not to get too attached to these because they're his. Do you know what's wrong with him, Shelly? Is it what I probably think it probably is, just from what Lou posted? And I didn't check today. I'm going to check on Facebook when I get off of here and see if she's put any updates so I can update Shauna. Hi, U.S. Army 101st. My dad was U.S. Army 31st MP Battalion for 24 years, actually. Hi, oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys that are sending likes. Thank you so much for Carter, tap your screen while you're on here. Yeah, that's all I know too, Shelly. That's all I know. And I don't really talk to anybody that would know more, but yeah. Hair in the way. Oh, to talk to Billy. What do you mean you don't leave your room to talk to Billy? Yeah, I was thinking Billy too. You know, I am friends with Heather. So. Hi, Helen Schwab. Thank you for joining us. You know, there's a musician who's very famous in Columbus, Ohio. That's name is John Schwab. He was in a band called McGuffey Lane back in the 70s and 80s. Hi, Gray. Thank you for joining us. Oh, you don't leave your room at work. Got you. Billy still, I didn't know if Billy was still there or not. I didn't know. I got you. Hi, Sarah Hall. Thank you for joining us. Now, I was sitting here earlier and I was thinking about how I always call people by their first and their last. Like if I say somebody's name, and I don't know, I don't think I do it with everybody. There's just certain people and that I say, you know, like John Carter or you know, I was thinking about it because of my friend Johnny Tsunami. And it's like, and John Camarera, and it's like, why do I use their first and last name? And I think I got that from you, because I remember thinking about that when you were talking about you saw Angela Pace somewhere years ago and you said, "Hi, Angela Pace." That's what it reminded me of. Yeah. And maybe it's people named John, because that's such a and I know so many Johns that maybe, ow, I'm not real comfortable. My back. I've stepped up I'm doing a little bit. I always do these like yoga exercises to stretch, but I don't really do any, can't do cardio. But I have a little stepper, it's not a big, it's just a little stepper thing. I think I got it at Walmart for like $55. And, yeah, but, I've been getting on my stepper for the last couple of weeks to try to get a little bit of stamina built up for my trip. Hi, Yo Chalk. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, it's storming here. And Shelly, I may, when we get back, it will be, okay, we're leaving on the 17th. I think we're coming back on the 24th or 20th. I think we're leaving on Sunday the 17th and we're coming back the following Saturday. I think I'm gonna stay in Ohio for at least a day or so. If I can get Alexis or Land, my grandson, or somebody to bring me, I'll let you know, and maybe we can meet up, like if you're able to be out and about, because they live around the Lancaster area. Hi, Jeff. Thank you. Jeff Adk. Yeah. I think we're going to have a slow... There's Diane. Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for joining us. Diane and her brilliant idea for a video. Hi, user Sunshine. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Diane, I was very... Well, when I was in high school, we wore these. When I was in high school, that's... Thank you, Diane. My Uncle Walter helped me. Hi, Tom Sharp. He wanted me to do one more take, but it was almost 100 degrees out there and I was dying. I'm not used to being out in the wild. But yeah, he helped me. In the video, when I reach over and get the fishing pole, my Uncle Walter was sitting next to me on the golf cart, handing me the fishing pole. And we wanted the pond in the background, and he wanted to take me down to the pond to do it. And I'm like, I'm not going down there. You got to go through the field. And I said, I'm not going through those weeds. And he said, those aren't weeds. He said, I just bush hogged that not too long ago, but it was still up to your knees. And I'm like, I don't want to go down there. He wanted me to go and do it, but I said, I'm not actually going fishing. It's not about going fishing. And snakes, exactly. I said, I'm not pretending that I'm going fishing. It's about inviting somebody to go fishing. But, national severe flood warning here. But, I do live on a floodplain. Hi, Dove. The fuck is my life. Oh, never mind. The fuck is my life. But we wanted the pond in the background. But the problem was the sun was so bright. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. The sun was so bright, I couldn't even, I did that video completely blind. I mean, I was completely blind. I could not see the screen at all because of the sun. And he kept saying, well, move over there. You know, there was like a tree. And I said, well, I still can't see. And so he had me move again. And when I moved, I had to go in the house to look at the video. I had to go inside to actually see what and I saw that the pond wasn't in the background, but the reason we had to do multiple takes is because that video is real short, and we kept missing the cue for him to hand me the fishing pole, because every time it would be, I would say, okay, because we had a signal. I hold my hand out. When I hold my hand out, you hand me the fishing pole. Well, I wasn't getting it back in the frame quick enough and the video would end. So it comes in a little bit early, but I was so done. And I wanted to get that video done, and I did my promo yesterday too. And then that way I didn't have to worry about doing that tonight, and that gave me like an extra hour to do nothing. And but anyway, I wanted to get those 2 videos done, so I got those 2 done. And then I went in the house and I told my Aunt Iva, I said, I'm not doing the singing video. I can't do it. I was so exhausted. And then I looked around, you know, because I was going to do it sort of by the barn, but it was so hot. And then a storm was brewing, so the chickens had all gone in the chicken house chicken coop. And so I thought, well, we're not going to have barns and chickens. And then I looked across the yard and I'm like, hey, I could go over there and sit by the cornfield. And there's an couple, like 2 or 3 apple trees right there, so I could actually sit in the shade and just sit on the ground. Although I was looking around because, you know, wildlife. But I can't tell too much of that story because I promised Junior that I would tell that story when he got here. So I won't tell any more about it till he gets here. But you probably seen the wind, because there were severe thunderstorm warnings, which is why it cooled off a little bit, which is why I went back outside. Chicken house. It's called a chicken house. No, it's called a chicken coop. But some people call it a chicken. My grandmother actually called it a chicken house. Well, it's their little house, and he's going to build them a bigger house because somebody just gave him like 13 more chickens. And it's not big enough for all those chickens. And animals keep killing the chickens anyway. Coyotes and raccoons are killing the chickens. Hi, Larry. Hi, Larry. Thank you for joining us. Chicken condos. Yeah, why didn't he just build on... The chicken house that they have now isn't an actual chicken house. It used to be a little greenhouse, and he converted it into a chicken house, and it's not that great. So he's gonna just get a new one. 2010, thank you for joining us. And 929 boys, thank you for joining us. But yeah, so he actually went to Cincinnati today to get some kind of buildings, like go pick up buildings. Yeah, he does need better security. Because the chicken house is down by the barn, which is not that far from the house. We always drive the golf cart, because now I can drive the golf cart. We always take the golf cart down there. But there's no trees over there. And so I needed a shady place. What's a chicken HOA? Housing... I don't know what that is, Diane. I can't think what HOA might mean. I gotta get myself situated. My back has been bothering me because I've been trying to get myself a little more stamina for my trip. And hi, Willie. But anyway. Hi, Katie. Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. But well, that's what we'll talk about. Oh, I'm going on the 17th. I'm going to Punta Cana with my daughter and her family. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, sweetheart. Well, somebody's tapping the screen because we're at 499 likes now. Yeah, I thought that's what you meant, like a condo association. Yeah, those chickens need to band together because that's when they got rid of their chickens when they stopped having chickens for a while because a coyote killed all of them. And, yeah, Zach got a special gun that like shoots 1,000 feet or something. It shoots a really long way, very accurately. He actually got that gun for the specific purpose of shooting coyotes. Yeah. And the raccoons, they also kill chickens. And cats. Cats want my Uncle Walter, I was getting a rundown of this yesterday. He said cats won't really kill grown-up chickens. They went in the chicken coop or house, whichever. He went in there to get eggs and there was a cat. One of the neighbors, they have neighbors that are a little ways from them, but not that far, that have a bunch of cats. Well, one of those cats was in the... Hi, Wang Hang. Thank you for joining us. Work the first half and play the second. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, Katie, I see that you just became my top viewer. Hi, Mary Very Bless. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. But what was I talking about? I was talking about the chickens, but that wasn't it. It reminded me, well, I have cards. Diane, are you going to go see the new Elvis movie? Shelley, how about you? You guys going to go to a movie theater and see the Elvis movie? I never even knew about it. I didn't even know about it until last night. Zach Black mentioned it on his live. And I really want to see that. And I know it's 2 hours and 39 minutes, but Zoe is checking with Zach. Does anybody know, Shelley, do you know if that movie is rated R or rated PG? Because if it's rated R, I'll already know the answer to the question. But Zoe and I were going to go on Monday. Well, I wanted her to go tomorrow, but she's helping her Nana because her Nana's having a garage sale. But anyway, I think if Zach says Zoe can go, then Zoe and I are going to go Monday to a matinee and see it. Because I would like her to see it. But Zach may not like her to see it. It depends. I mean, I've only seen 2 trailers of it, and I mean, I know it could have some racy parts, but if it's rated R, she won't be allowed to go. Hi, the Finnish Viking. Thank you for joining us. 1966. Let's see here. I already talked to Shelley about the first and last, saying people's first and last names. That's about that. And oh, I did a impromptu live on the 4th of July, you guys. I decided I was going to set up in my driveway because I was here by myself because everybody else was at the lake. And broadcast the fireworks here live. So I set up out there. I'm sitting on the trunk of my car, actually, is where I was sitting. And yeah, Shelly, do you know if it's rated R or rated PG? Can you look that? I don't know why I didn't just look that up. I started thinking about something else, I guess. Because if it's rated R, then I might as well just go tomorrow by myself because she won't be allowed to go. But I love something happy lady. Oh, good. Then well, that doesn't mean he's going to say she can go, but more chance of it since it's not rated R. It looks really good. Although the actor, I would think they could have gotten somebody that looked more like Elvis, actually. Hi, Bobby Stewart. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if I've seen you here for a long time, Bobby. But thank you for joining us. Thank you, Diane, for tapping your screen. We're at 800 and something likes now. And then I have something when John Camarera gets here. I wanted to tell him about something I just saw. And, oh, big announcement. We hit 22,000 followers today and 114,000 likes. It turned to 114,000 today and it finally went to 22,000. And on the alternate account, hello, Pamela from Tennessee. Hello, sweetheart. How are you doing? But my alternate account, any of you guys who aren't following me on the alternate account, if you could do me a favor and follow me there, because I can actually follow you back there. And I mean, most of you guys we're already following each other from that account. But anybody that's in here, and it's Grace C, just like this account, only instead of 61, it's Grace C 1961. And if you guys will go there and follow me, I will follow you back from that account. I don't follow everybody back. I will look at your page, and if you're a troll, don't bother because I will know that. But other than that, I will follow everybody back from that page because I don't, and I will tell you right now, I don't look at the messages or reply to comments or anything else on that page. Thank you, Raymond. Not saying anything. I'm doing good. Yeah, Junior trolls me over on my alternate account. He sends me DMs over there on my alternate account. I see a DM and I see it like 2 days later because I really don't do anything on that page. But what reason I was saying that is because I think I only need about 32 more followers and it'll be up to 1,000. It is a good idea to have that backup account up to 1,000 because if anything, I don't foresee anything happening to my my regular account, but in case it did, I would still like to be able to go live, and if I get that up to 1,000, then it'll be a backup. And yeah, Junior, he's my troll over on the other page. Yeah, if people go to, I send people to his page, and here I am, always, spewing my my rules and my this and my that, and then he's one of my best friends, and I send people to his page, and they see his videos, they're like, "What a hypocrite!" Because he is pretty racy. And not just because he doesn't wear a shirt most of the time. I told him that. I said, I can't tell you how many times when I've watched one of his videos and I know my face turns red. And I just have to leave and not even comment. Since Junior is here, so I will warn you, I will tell you to go. Junior has some really, my friend Junior, C4, has some really funny videos, but if you're easily offended, I wouldn't go there. He doesn't do anything really bad. I'm not gonna say that. He does not do anything bad at all. He does mostly TikTok trends and some of them that he makes up himself. No, now I can tell the fishing pole story since Junior is here. Sure, Diane. Go right ahead. Oh my God. What my man, you know, the pretend boyfriend. Whenever we were talking, whenever I first started getting ready for this trip, so you know, one of the first things I bought was a bathing suit. He's like, send me a picture of the bathing suit. I said, have you lost your mind? Absolutely not. He's like, well, you're gonna have to go outside with the I'm like, well, that's fine, but no, I'm not sending any pictures in bathing suits. Junior's encouraging you. Go ahead, Diane. And here I am encouraging you. But no, Junior, whenever, okay, I'm telling the story of the, now, and you'll know why I'm wearing overalls. He is a fresh fella. He is fresh. I'm gonna say that. He is fresh. He is very fresh. But he's fresh, but respectful. He's very respectful. I think that's why him and I are friends, is because he's very he's respectful to me anyway. Can't speak for anybody else. But here's the story of Diane and Junior. I'm going to call it Diane and Junior's fishing video, because Junior did his part of it, and Diane came up with the idea of how I should do my side of it. So anyway, and Junior is the one that sent me that video of that Thank God I'm a Country Girl, which I thought I knew the lyrics to and found out I did not know the lyrics to. And so I had to learn them on the fly, sitting out in the middle of a field. But anyway, I told my Aunt Iva that I needed to borrow a pair of my Uncle Walter's overalls. So she sent my Uncle Walter over, and they live like 20 minutes from me, because he didn't come just for that. He was bringing me my Aunt Iva's phone, because I got her a new phone and I had to switch over the phones. But anyway, so he brought me 2 pair of overalls, and one pair was like bigger and they were faded, but I didn't like them. I thought they looked better because they were a little raggedy looking, which I thought was good, but I just didn't like them. They were too big and they looked stupid. And so anyway, I get my overalls and I go over to my Aunt Iva's yesterday I was doing 3 videos over there. I was doing Junior and Diane's fishing video and Junior's video that he sent to me, Thank God I'm a Country Girl. And I wanted to do my promo from there. So anyway, I needed a fishing pole. And so after I got there, my Uncle Walter told me not to get too attached to his overalls, but he only wears them in the winter, so I can keep them until I get my own pair, which I am going to get my own pair. Anyway, I said, Walter, I need a fishing pole. And I said, Walter, go get her a fishing pole. So he drove the golf cart down to the barn to get me a fishing pole. And then when he got back, I'm like, where's my fishing pole? And he said, it's leaning against the golf cart and out, right off the front porch. Well, I looked out the door and I'm like, well, where's all the stuff? Because all it was a rod and reel, and it didn't have any stuff on it. There was nothing else on it. And I said, I can't use that. I need the stuff on it. And he said, what stuff? And I said, the stuff, that goes on a fishing pole. I can't use that. It didn't even have the thread on it. And he said, well, it's got, the reel apparently has that in it, and I could have pulled that up through, but I needed the stuff. Hi, Kaza. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Kaza and Ryan. Thank you for coming. I'm telling a story right now, Kaza, about overalls. And I love you too, sweetheart. Love you. Hi, Gabby. Hi, Gabby. They're my other granddaughter. Thank you guys for coming. And thank you, Smurfette. Thank you. That's my granddaughter, Gabby. And Kaza Ferg is my granddaughter, Kaza. She's actually my oldest granddaughter. She's getting ready to turn 20 years old, as a matter of fact. Hello, Becky. Hello. Thank you for tapping the screen, Gabby. Appreciate it. Well, anyway, he didn't know what, and he said, I don't understand. You're not going fishing. And I said, I can't be holding, in the video, I can't be holding a fishing pole that doesn't have the stuff on it. That's going to look stupid. And I was like, yeah, Walter, what's wrong with you? Go put the stuff on it. So he drove back down to the barn and brought it back, and it has the stuff, and then brought it back with the stuff on it. And the stuff, he said, I'm not putting a hook on there. You'll have a fish hook stuck in you. And I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, and you know what the stuff is that I'm talking about, that thing that floats on the bobber and that kind of stuff. It's got to have that on it or it would look stupid. So anyway, we got that all taken care of. And then I told the stuff, well, it's the stuff. I mean, here's the rod and reel, and then you got all that other stuff that goes on it. Bait and hooks and bobbers and thread, or fishing line. I know what these things are called. And, well, then my Uncle Walter, I don't know if it had a hook on it or not. I didn't look. I just saw the stuff. That's all I cared about. And so anyway, I told my Uncle Walter, I said, well, I need you to help me because I got to have somebody hand me the fishing pole. And he's like, I told my Aunt Ivan, my Aunt Iva told him to do it. So anyway, and I'm telling this story not just for Junior's amusement, but because I want to demonstrate how these two, how my Aunt Iva and my Uncle Walter are about things. Anyway, my Aunt Iva says, Walter, go down there and help her. She needs you to hand the fishing pole. So he sat in the golf cart, and when you see me reach over, my Uncle Walter is sitting next to me in the golf cart, and he hands me the fishing pole. Well, we couldn't even do that in one take, Junior. That took like 10 takes because we couldn't get the timing right. By the time I would get the fishing pole, your video was over. And so here we are. And then I'm like, Walter, I can't even see. The sun was so bright, I couldn't even see the screen of the phone. So I couldn't even see what we were recording. And we wanted the pond in the background. Because, like, if you see the background of that video, like right over here in the background, there's a big pond. And but it's not like right there by the fence, because my Uncle Walter tried to talk me into going down there by the pond and doing the video. And I'm like, I don't need a pond right by me. I'm not actually going fishing. I'm just inviting somebody to go fishing, or pretending to. So anyway, I said, I'm not going down there. I don't want to go through those weeds, which he was offended by because he said he just bush hogged. He just bush hogged the field. And I'm like, well, it's not short enough. I'm not walking down there. And Well, he's the one that realigned me. Hi, Sean the Rapper. No, I'm not going fishing. I'd have to go down there to the pond, and there's snakes and stuff down there. So I can fish. I know how to fish. I've fished before since I was little. Junior, I forgot I was going to send you that picture when I was a little girl with the fishing picture. But anyway, I said, okay, I gotta go in the house and check the video. Well, I went in the house and checked it. Well, we got the fishing pole in the video. I was good because it was almost 100 degrees and I was dying. I was sweating. You can even tell in the video, my face is beet red. It was bad. And so anyway, got in the house. I yelled at my Uncle Walter and said, okay, we're done with that video. So he came in the house and he looked at it. He's like, where's the pond? And I said, we moved the tripod, then the pond wasn't in the background anymore. And he's like, no, we got to have the pond in the background. I'm like, no, we don't, because I'm not going back out there and doing that again. So this is how they are. If you enlist their help with something, or if you're doing something, they are all in. I mean, they are, well, anything that you do, well, I'm not going to say they would support anything that you do. They are just so supportive, you know, and they're just doing everything to, my Aunt Iva's like, well, come in here and sit down and I'll make you a cup of coffee and rest for a little while, because she wanted me to make the Thank God I'm a Country Girl video. And I'm like, Iva, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that video today. I realize I don't know the words, and it's a really long song, and I'm going to have to be out there, and it's just too hot. And anyway, Junior, well, my Uncle Walter was trying to direct the video, and I didn't enlist him. All I enlisted him for was to provide me with the overalls, provide me with a fishing pole with the stuff on it, and hand me the fishing pole. That's all I needed. I didn't need him directing me. If he hadn't been directing me in the first place, if he hadn't been directing me, we would have had the pond in the background. He's the one that got me to move so that I would be a little bit in the shade. And if he hadn't convinced me to move, we'd have had the pond in the background. So it was his directing that caused the problem, and I do regret, if I had it to do over again, I do have my own movie crew. They absolutely are like that, and they're really supportive. And my Aunt Iva, you know how I had those TikTok cards made? My Aunt Iva, every time I go somewhere with her, she starts up a conversation. She never meets a stranger. So everywhere if we go to the store, I told you that, like even at the pallet store, she's always chatting everybody up. When we were at Penny's, the last time we were at Penny's, when I went there to get my sandals, I think, or something. I don't remember what we went there for. But anyway, we were at the counter paying for the stuff, and it's just a long counter. It's like a customer service counter. But anyway, there was another cashier, you know, like right down from her. Well, my Aunt Iva kept asking me where I wanted to go to lunch, and I said, well, I don't care, you choose. And she said, no, it's your day. I'm taking you to lunch, so you get to pick. And I said, I don't know. I don't care where we go. And so I asked the girl, I said, tell me a good place to eat. Tell me something that maybe I haven't been to. Thank you, thank you, Smurfette, for welcoming people in during my long-winded stories that segue off into other stories. But anyway, the girl she said, well, I forget what restaurant she said, and I said, there's one of those in Richmond, and I'm giving city names now. And she said, no, Lexington. And I said, well, we're not going all the way to Lexington. If we go all the way to Lexington, I want City Barbecue. And Iva said, do you want us to go to City Barbecue? And I said, no, I don't want to go all the way there. And so she was telling the cashier girl, she's like, we just spoil her. It's, she's so spoiled. And I said, I am 61 years old. I don't think that you can call me spoiled. And there was this man checking out at the other, and he said, you're not 61 years old. And I said, I am 61 years old. And he said, you do not look 61 years old. And I said, well, it's because I got a mask on. And so anyway, my Aunt Iva said, well, she is 61 years old, but she acts like she's 14. And she's like, and she makes videos on TikTok acting like she's 14 years old. And the man, the girl and the man said, my Aunt Iva said, she makes videos on TikTok and acts like she's 14 years old. And the man said, I would like to see that. And my Aunt Iva's like, well, here. She's like, get those cards out. So I give the man and the cash register girl one of my TikTok cards, and they're like, oh, this is great. They acted like they met some celebrity or something. But my Aunt Iva is the one that does that. I don't usually bring that up, but she tells everybody that, when every person that because their house is like Grand Central Station with the phone, every person that called her yesterday, she's like, well, Cookie's over here making the TikTok. She loves to make the TikToks at our house. It's like, they were like that. Yeah, they were like that with my YouTube channel. Because I used to, this is actually a funny story about another video making, but this was years ago, before I moved here. My Aunt Iva and my Uncle Walter were going to the field, and my Uncle Walter was going to drive the tractor. It was a corn field, and he was driving the tractor, and the corn was already planted, and it was about this tall. So I don't know exactly what he was doing, but he was driving the tractor and doing something. I'm not real sure what he was doing. My Aunt Iva had a hoe, and she was like chopping weeds. Well, when we got there, because my Aunt Iva knows me. My Aunt Iva has, she's like my mother. And when we got there, my Aunt Iva, she took care of me. She unfolded the lawn chair and set it in the shade. And she said, now here you go. Now you can sit here and drink your coffee, because I always have my thermos of coffee. And you can sit here. You're in the shade. And my Uncle Walter's standing there at the getting ready to get the tractor off of the trailer thing that it was on, because they had to drive the tractor to the field. And he said, you mean to tell me that you're just going to sit there? And I said, well, no, actually, I'm probably going to make a video, because I had in my head the song Where Corn Don't Grow. And I was, my aunt is always like that. But, I have health issues. It's not just because I'm spoiled. It isn't that. But anyway, my Uncle Walter said, and this was the whole thing, he said, you can help her, or you can drive the tractor. And my Aunt Iva's like, do you want to have a cornfield left? She can't drive the tractor. No, she can't do that. And he said, well, I brought 2 hoes. Of course, we had to make a joke out of that. My Aunt Iva's like, you better watch who you're calling a hoe. And I didn't even know she knew what a hoe was. But anyway, I said, fine, give me that, and I'll go do whatever she's doing. And I said, okay, I need gloves. Because this was actually, I took a little break before I went to work at Mercedes-Benz. And I said, okay, I need some gloves. And he said, I don't have any gloves. And I said, I can't be using that out there in the field. I will have blisters all over my hands. How do you think I'm going to go to work at Mercedes-Benz with blisters on my hands? What's wrong with you? He was, and he used to say, and he said, because I used to spend summers with my grandparents, and their names were Charlie and Verna May. May is where I got my name. And he said, I know that when you stayed with Charlie and Verna May, that you helped them out in the field. And I said, Walter, I have never worked in a field a day in my life. Are you kidding? Yeah, I went to the field with my grandparents, but I just played and caught bugs and whatever I was doing. Pretty much what I was doing there, only there I was making a video. And he said, I can't believe you're just going to sit there. And I said, I'm not. I said, I'm actually going to be making a video which you will be enjoying later, because I made this really great video, one of my favorite videos I've ever done, and I used the Randy Travis song Where Corn Don't Grow. I actually used it in one of my TikToks. I cut, you know how I cut the videos up and layer them. But I will actually put that video in my TikTok mentions folder if you guys want to see it. But I went there and I did some video and I did some pictures, and this was one of my early videos. I was using different software then. But so anyway, it's my Aunt Iva working out in the field and my Uncle Walter driving the tractor and doing whatever he's doing. I don't know what it's called. It's like roughing up the ground or something. But anyway, that's the video that I made. And then my point to that story, I'm going to go back to where I was with how supportive they are. When I made that video, they were just, she was like, Walter, get over here and look at this. Because we pulled it up on the computer back then. This is like, I don't know, 10 years ago. About almost 10 years ago. She's like, look at this great video. And so anyway, my Uncle Walter just loved it. He's like, he just loved it. And everywhere we went, every time I went somewhere with my Aunt Iva, she would say, pull that video up on your phone. She would be standing in a line, like in a grocery store or something, with total strangers, and she would just start talking to them, and she would say, you should see the video that she made of us. And she's like, pull that video up. And I'm like, Iva, we're not, and this was a long time ago. I'm like, Iva, I can't, there's no Wi-Fi here, and it's the cellular was too slow to watch a video on YouTube. But anyway, yeah, she's she's she loves it. She doesn't love all the videos that I do. Some of the songs she doesn't love, but there's a lot of songs that I do just for them, like that Que Sera Sera song that I did. That's one of my Uncle Walter's favorite songs. And all those old Hank Williams songs and stuff, I do some stuff just for them. Hello, Carol Pitts. Sorry, I don't know why I always do that. And Carol Pitts is one of the people, Shelley, that I always say her first and her last name. They won't let me, Junior. My Aunt Iva she'll barely even let you take a picture of her. There is one of my videos that she's in, just very briefly at the end, her and my Uncle Walter. Yeah, they won't allow that. That video that I made of them in the field, that's the closest thing. And they are there's actually one of my videos that I did for my Aunt Iva, and there's a milking video that I did of my Aunt Iva milking, and she let me do that reluctantly, but she's like, don't get that. She's just like me. I don't like anybody taking pictures or videos of me either. Thank you, Smurfette. Thank you so much. But yeah. But I did do the milking video. And there's a couple. There's one that I did for a birthday video. It's like 30 or 40 minutes long. And it's just, but it's more of a, it's not really a video. It's a video, but it's a slideshow of a bunch of photographs of, because she's got as many grandchildren as I do. And anyway, but that was your story of the, oh, and then Junior, my Aunt Iva's the one that kind of kept saying, well, you still got to you should go ahead. You need to go ahead and they are a hoot. She's the one that encouraged me to go on outside and make the singing, the Thank God I'm a Country Girl video. She's like, well, just come in and sit down for a little while and have a cup of coffee, and then you'll feel like going, because she really wanted that video done. And so, because I told her what song I was singing, she's like, oh yeah. And I had that pink top on because I like the contrast of the lace and the overalls, or the pink top. She said, you should have worn a flannel shirt. You should have worn a flannel shirt. And I said, Iva, I don't want some stupid flannel shirt on. I said, I was dying out there as it was. Can you imagine how hot I'd be if I had a flannel shirt on? And she said, well, you should at least wear a plaid shirt. That top that I had on, she said, does not match the overalls. And I said, that's my concept. I want there to be a contrast. It's how I used to dress my daughter when her overalls, and she would have a little frilly blouse on under her overalls. Hi, Loki. Hi, Smiles. Thank you for joining us. I'm doing fine, telling a story here. But so I went out there, and then I almost got blown away. I was in the video, the little blooper video that I used. I actually had to hold on to the tripod. It almost bashed me in the head. Plus, I'm sitting under apple trees, and that wind was blowing so hard, the apples, I kept hearing them hit the ground, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to get bashed in the head. And it almost, when it picked the tripod up, because of the foam being on it, it actually picked it up and almost bashed me in the head. So I'm having to sit there and hold that. And I actually thought I was going to be able to make a video under those conditions. But fortunately, the wind died down for just a short time. And I thought, well, it's now or never. So I hurried up, and you could see how dark, if you look at that video and look at the sky behind me, you'll see how dark the sky is. Johnny Appleseed. Yep, I was sitting under the apple trees. And then Iva, she was like, oh no. Cause when she watched the video, because this is a representative of them. That's their garden out there where I was sitting by the corn. The corn was the closest to me. She said, oh no, you took that video. I wish you would have gone down to the end of the garden, and then you would have seen down the rows of the corn instead of just the side of the corn. And she said, you can see all those weeds. Because she hasn't been weeding the garden because she's got a problem with her hip and her knee. Actually, she actually needs a hip replacement and a knee replacement, and it's been postponed over and over because of COVID. But anyway, she didn't like it that I put that's the angle that I chose to do of the garden, because you can see that she hasn't weeded the garden very well. And it would have looked better if I would have taken it and it would have been down the rows of corn. But there's no trees over there. There was nowhere for me to sit down with some shade. And Junior, I didn't have any chickens in the video, and I decided not to have the barn in the video because there's no trees there. It was too hot and there was no shade. I had to get somewhere where I could sit down and have shade. And so that's how much trouble I went to for those 3 videos, only 2 of them were yours. That's how much trouble I went to for those videos for you, Mr. and Diane, because it was Diane's idea. Hi, Noel Gonzalez. Hey, can you guys watch? Yeah, there were no chickens. They were in their house because we had a severe thunderstorm warning. There were actually sirens going off when I was sitting out there doing that. Not that I pay any attention to them. They've been going off here today too, but it has actually, it never did rain. It never did rain there. But, oh, well, good to see you. Thank you, Junior. I wasn't pleased. I was more pleased with the thank God I'm a country girl. I was all right with that. But I didn't care for that fishing one because, number one, I bring the fishing pole in too soon. I can hardly even do the video because I'm about to die. It was so hot. And I didn't get the pond in the background. I do think it would have been better with the pond in the background, but it's what is that, like a 15-second video, and I'm rethinking it. I'm not going to go remake it, I can tell you that. Well, I'm glad, Junior. And don't feel too special because I go to that much trouble for a lot of videos. And nobody would even notice the difference. Do you think anybody would have noticed if my fishing pole didn't have the stuff on it? Would anybody have even noticed that? Probably not. But I would notice it. Oh, and I was going to tell you, I've got cards. Okay, we talked him. First and last name, fishing pole. Yeah, and Walter on the golf cart. Pond missing from the picture. If John Camarera pops in, Smurfette or Diane, one of you guys let me know. One of you guys let me know because I wanted to tell him about something. About this documentary I was watching. Oh yeah. I set up my Aunt Iva's new phone because she has like this same phone, because this phone that I use right here, this phone is 8, possibly 9 years old, and it's a 6 Plus S. Hers is a 6 Plus because I always pick out the phones for her and order the phones for her. And I wanted to get the new one. I wanted it to still have the home button, so I wanted to get her an 8 because it's getting to where it's not working right anymore, and it doesn't have anything that the phone itself works just fine, but it's even mine is acting up. But the screen it's not the screen on the phone though, it's actually that it's about to not work anymore. Thank you, Robert. It's the overalls. This is gonna be my new uniform. And I was saying that about how we wore these when I was in high school. I had a pair of overalls when I was in high school. We dressed, if you look at the Eagles concert videos from the 70s, that's kind of how we dressed. With our Levi's and our flannel shirts and our long john shirts and our hiking boots and our overalls. I didn't get to wear my overalls very much. My dad didn't like it. He did not like that at all, because keep in mind, my dad was raised on a farm and he absolutely hated farming. He wanted to get as far away from it as he could, and he did not like me wearing overalls. But I still did once in a while. Oh, thank you, Robert. I don't know what my talent is exactly, but... Hello, Linda Love. Hello, sweetheart. Thank you for joining us. Oh, hi, DJ Slim. I didn't even see DJ Slim come in. I don't even know if I know DJ Slim, but I love that name. I was actually getting ready to watch a new documentary I hadn't seen yet about one of my favorite characters, Iceberg Slim, and I'm not gonna even talk any more about that because I got in trouble once before not on TikTok, but because Zach and I were having this conversation about iceberg slim. Oh my God. And I do remember now what the conversation was about. It's because my dad's wife, because my dad remarried about, I don't know how many years after my mom died, and he was married for about, oh, thank you, Robert. I love doing the lip syncing. Hi, Hank from NC. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad, Linda. I'm so glad. It's always great when we have the grandchildren. Hi, Hank. Good evening to you, sweetheart. But, what was I talking about? I have no idea. Oh, the phone. My Aunt Iva's phone. Anyway, so I got her phone set up, and I took that with me yesterday when I went over there, too. But, and I know how it happened. I know exactly how it happened. But now, the way I set up her phone, and it actually asked me a question, and I was kind of in a hurry, and I just said yes. And so her email address is 8chickens at whatever. And, I apparently set it so that, like, the caller ID name that comes up when she texts people or calls them is 8chickens. Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Robert. They're actually my Uncle Walter's overalls, and he told me not to get too attached to them. But he doesn't wear these in the summertime. He usually only wears them in the wintertime. And so I'm borrowing them from him. I'm just not going to take them back. I didn't borrow them from him because he was very specific about me not getting too attached to them. So I'm just not going to give them back to him until I get my own pair. And I'm going to order my own pair that are just like these. He doesn't need them right now. So I dressed my daughters when they were little. My oldest two, I'd gotten out of it. They always wore bibs. They wore bibs all the time. That was my favorite thing to put on them. Hi, Blake. Hi, Blake. My grandson Blake is here. Be moted. Thank you for coming, Blake. You like my overalls? They're actually Uncle Walter's that I have to give back. Oh, I'm in Kentucky, Robert. I live in Kentucky. Let me look at my cards. Oh, and I was going to say just a little thing about this. When I went to get new index cards out of the drawer, and these are the kind of things that happen sometimes, and they just kind of happen randomly. But like all of Brad's things, because he always had notebooks, because he made a lot of notes about things. Well, I can't believe that this didn't get put in with all of his other stuff. But when I was getting those index cards out of the drawer where I keep all of that kind of stuff, I found this little notebook that I apparently gave him for his birthday in 2002, actually, because it says happy birthday and right inside of it. And then it's got notes, and it says 2002, and it's got notes, and here are these, like, things that we would come up with these, and then what this is we would always come up with these ideas, just stupid things. And you know how the pet rock was such a big thing in whatever generation that was, the 70s. It was such a big thing in the pet rock, and you could buy houses and all kinds of things for your pet rock. Hi, Addie. Hi, Addie. Addie is my cousin. She's actually Blake, who does my yard's sister. Hi, Addie. Thank you for stopping in. I have Papaw's overalls on. Addie is my Uncle Walter's granddaughter. I've got Papaw's overalls on. He let me borrow them. But he said don't get too attached to them. But anyway, one of the ideas that we were apparently talking about was, instead of a pet rock, it was all these bean things, like beans, like Mexican jumping beans is what it was about. And the reason is because somebody gave me, or either that or I bought them. I might have bought them like when I was out west or something, Mexican jumping beans. And he loved them. He thought they were the coolest things. And so he started coming up with all these ideas of like building a maze, like making a maze for the beans, or like a bean on a spring. and like this little bean thing, like a bean racetrack. And that's the kind of stuff that we did, is we would just take something like that, like Mexican jumping beans. Take something like that and then just go expand on it and go off the deep end on all these ideas that you could come up with just for these little Mexican jumping beans. But anyway, hi, Toss It Up. Thank you for joining us. And so I talked about everything. I talked about the Elvis movie a little bit. And hey, Addie, have you noticed that when Meemaw texts you now, it comes up 8 chickens? If you know how to fix that. Oh, I didn't know anything about that. I don't really know anything about Mexican jumping beans other than this, that I apparently bought some. My guess is I probably bought them when I was in Tucson or somewhere like that, and brought them home to him, and he was just fascinated with them. And but yeah, so I didn't plant them or anything, Hank. Yeah, the thing I was gonna, oh yeah, that's what I was talking about too. I did the impromptu live of our fireworks here, and I went live doing showing the firework display. It only lasted 10 minutes. If you watch that video that I did with Elvis's trilogy, that's got the flag waving, the fireworks display that's in the background of that video, that is the entire fireworks display, but I sped it up 2 times so that it was only 5 minutes long, so that it would fit with the Elvis trilogy video or song. But yeah, that 10 minutes. And it's usually like 30 or 40 minutes. I mean, it's not, because this is a little town. It's not a huge fireworks display, but 10 minutes? That isn't even worth doing anything for. But anyway, I was glad that I did it, and then I could make that video with. And the reason I used Elvis's trilogy, well, because a lot of people use it with fireworks displays, but I actually posted that right at midnight on the 4th of July, so that it was the 5th of July, because the 5th of July was my dad's birthday. It would have been his 83rd birthday, but he passed away August 22nd, right after he turned 81. And anyway, so he loved that Elvis's trilogy song, and so I wanted to do that I didn't want to do any big happy birthday thing or anything like that, so I just did that video and then put a comment in that said happy birthday to my dad. And I didn't. I was going to say I might have posted that on Facebook, but I didn't. I have a video of my dad on my YouTube channel that I did of him when he was 79, and he he was playing the guitar. My dad had Alzheimer's, but he was playing the guitar and singing, because that my dad played guitar and sang to us all the time. That's pretty much how we grew up, was my dad playing guitar and singing to us, kind of like how Zach does with his kids. And I just saw when I was talking about my dad, I just saw somebody's screen name Quiet Man. And that was actually, but it was so funny that popped up, because that was actually that is my dad's all-time very favorite movie, is the John Wayne movie Quiet Man. And we used to have to watch it all the time. Oh, yeah, my dad would have been 83, but he lived 5 years longer than my mom did. And hi, Joni Stewart. Thank you for joining us. And, but anyway. And I do miss him very much. I was talking to somebody, I can't even remember who it was I was talking to, that also lost, I know it was Jay Simple Living, who he has a different name now. And he said he just lost his mother just not too long ago. But yeah, good, bad, or indifferent, I will tell you that I am pretty much just about everything about the way I am is because of my dad. You know, it's like, I was thinking about this because there was another conversation I was having about unconditional love. And I was telling somebody that I don't know any other kind of love. I absolutely don't. And it's, you know, I grew up with, I may not always love what you do, but I'll always love you. That is how people in my family were. And my dad, very different from women my age, you know, women of my generation. Most of them did not have fathers like mine. My dad is the one that got me into electronics. My dad is the one, you know, I was the one out helping him work on the car. Not that I actually worked on the car, but I would hand him the tools and I listened to him. He would teach me stuff about it. And he didn't think anything about that, because and in my entire life, until I was 18 or 19 or 20 years old, it was when I first met my husband and I was at their house. And I heard his mother telling his sister, because my husband there were only 2 children, and his mother and father were always married. There wasn't a second marriage. His sister was 16 years younger than him. That was the only 2 children they had. But anyway, his sister was asking his mom if she could do this or that or whatever. She's like, no, you can't do that. You're a girl. And I started thinking about that, and I realized that in my entire life, I had never in my life heard anybody say, you can't do that because you're a girl. I had never heard that before. Ever. Just never heard it. And I thought about how my dad was, and I remember watching some documentary about the difference. It was probably something to do with gender biases or something, and the difference between how fathers raise their sons and how fathers raise their daughters. Well, the way they raise their daughters. Oh, bye, Hank. Bye, Hank. I'm sorry I'm not paying attention to comments, but thank you for coming, Hank. Thank you so much. And, but he wasn't like that. He didn't do things for me. He taught me to do them for myself. You know, that's just how he was. He thought you should be self-sufficient. You should know how to do things for yourself. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you shouldn't know how to change the tire on your car. You know, that's just how my dad was. And I know that a big part of how I am is, and my dad also, and I think this comes from his Cherokee background, even though it wasn't taught to him in that way. My dad was a firm believer in you just let children be children, and my dad, you don't spank children. He just different. For when I was growing up, it was different. And no, that's fine. Let them do that. Let them do that. That's okay. She's not hurting anything. As long as you weren't hurting yourself or anybody else or burning the house down, it's all good. And my dad was very creative. My dad invented a lot of things. He was an inventor. and he was very creative. And he didn't think anything about. My dad was a really good seamstress. He's the one that did all of his sewing, and my dad was a good cook, but he was in the military. They teach people in the military stuff. What did you hear a lot, Diane? Yeah, everything was a lesson. Exactly. And my grandparents were like that too. My grandparents were always teaching. Like when I was with my grandfather riding on the tractor or going with him to feed the cows or whatever he was doing, he was always teaching. And my grandmother was the same way. They were just whatever, as long as nobody gets hurt. As long as nobody has to go to the hospital or need stitches, you can get hurt. I'm not going to say that. You might get hurt, but it is not going to be fatal. As long as there were no injuries that required a hospital. But anyway, so I told, the only thing that I didn't talk about, that I had written down actually, was the thing about and I'll say one more time, it hit 22,000 followers and 114,000 likes today. And I'm almost to 1,000 on the alternate account. But I did want to tell John Camarera about this. I saw this really great documentary called Rumble, and some other people might be interested in it too. It's on Netflix, but it's called Rumble, R-U-M-B-L-E. And it's about this guitar player that if I ever heard of, it's a song, and everybody has heard the song Rumble before, they just don't know it. And it's this guitar player who was Shawnee Indian. His name is Link Wray. If you want to look him up, look up YouTube and look up the song Rumble, and then you'll, as soon as you hear it, because it's kind of the song that started, they talked about how there probably wouldn't even be the Who. There wouldn't be if it weren't for this guitar player. But his name again was Link Wray, W-R-A-Y. And he was from North Carolina, and he was Shawnee. And anyway, that's what it's about. It's about how the documentary is called Rumble. And again, it's on Netflix. And it's about how Native Americans were completely left out of the whole, rock and roll story whenever Native American music has a strong influence. But anyway, I think we could probably, Gabby, who all's still here? Oh, Junk Gal, I didn't see you come in. I didn't see you pop in. Hi, Junk Gal. But I think we could probably go, ladies. Oh, Hank is gone, but I just saw his message about, but, it's 8:54. So, trip. I leave now on the 17th, and I almost caused myself a major problem Because when I told Alexis I was fine with her changing it, I didn't even think anything about who's going to take me to Louisville or anything like that. Well, I had nobody to take me to Louisville because Zach and Whitney are going to be gone because they're going to be at the lake for Zion's birthday. My Aunt Mildred's going to Illinois with her beau for some, and my Aunt Iva and Uncle Walter, I'm not really going around them that much, and I certainly wouldn't want to ride all the way to Louisville with them because another one of my Uncle Walter's brothers just tested positive for COVID. But anyway, I thought, well, I'll have to figure it out on my own. But my next door neighbor, XT, has one of her former students lives in Louisville who just had a baby, and she was wanting to go visit anyway. So my wonderful neighbor, XT, or Dr. Hong, is going to take me to Louisville to get it. I have to be there at 10 a.m. and it's less than 2 hours from here. So that's the other thing about not living close to civilization. There is no airport. Diane, I couldn't even get a rental car that I could drop off at the air, because that was my plan. Because see, I'm not flying back to Louisville. I will fly back into Columbus with Alexis and them, and then they're going to bring me home. And they just flew me from here to Orlando so that they didn't have to come get me right before the trip, because that's a 4-hour drive for them to come get me. But anyway, it'd be 8 hours both ways. But I would have to take my car there and leave my car there, and I'm not going back there. So that was turning into an issue. So then I thought, well, I can rent a car. I'd have to get somebody to take me all the way to Lexington, which is almost as far away as Louisville, to get a rental car that I could drop off at the airport. And there is like a collision center around here that you can rent a car, but not like that. It's mostly just for people to rent. It's not a rental car that you can drop off and, a one-way rental car. That's right. We do have that. We do have those things. It is. And see, I don't even think like that, because I don't do that much, and it's not an issue most of the time. You know what it's just not an issue. I don't need a rental car. If I'm going somewhere, remember what my Aunt Iva said, I'm spoiled. If I'm going somewhere, somebody comes and gets me and takes me. I don't really need a rental car. So those kind of things don't come up very often as a problem, and I said that before. When I was younger, there's no way I would have lived here. When I was actually young and active and doing things, I could not have lived here. There would be nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. No concerts, no nothing. And I like to be where things are happening. And I when I made the decision to move here, it was because I realized that I wasn't doing any of those things anymore. I mean, I had a couple of concerts that I bought tickets to and wasn't even ahead of time, and I wasn't even up to going the night. And I mean, it's something that I wouldn't have missed for the world. And like Shelley, when Chad would come to town and be playing in Columbus, I would never miss that. I would not miss that. Chad's one of Shelley and my friends. Shelley and I both worked with him, and he's a musician. He's actually a musician full-time now. Back then he was an engineer, but who played music on the side. But anyway, he would come to Columbus periodically because they moved to Detroit. And I would never miss him when he would come and play. And there were the last year or so before I left and came here, I can think of 2 times that he came to Columbus and I was supposed to go hear him play and I was not up to it. And I mean, I was not up to going and sitting in a bar and listening to somebody play music. I wasn't even up to that. So, anyway. What in the heck? So, I realized that I didn't really need all of that anymore. I do miss the restaurants. I could still use a good restaurant. But there is, Shelley, there's a new German restaurant here. I wasn't real impressed with it, but maybe because XT got takeout for us from there. It's called, what's the name of it? Nightjar is what it's called. And they have a limited menu though. And this phone is not charging, probably because I would bet you the other end of the cord probably got unplugged. Yep, it's not plugged in. Sorry people, I'm plugging a phone in. Yeah, it's about to run down. It's got 19% because when I had company, you know how I have my cord, my sofa's wired. I have wires ran all through my sofa so that, you know, this cord stays right here, and when I sit down to do my live, I just pull it out of here and stick it in my phone. Well, because I had company that plugged other stuff into the charger over there, or the USB bank over there, they unplugged my phone. Port Clinton. Oh, really? Have you seen him lately, Shelley? I actually haven't talked to them since COVID first started. I have not talked to him or Jackie. When COVID first started and he was doing those lives every night, because he did lives on Facebook and YouTube for 69 days straight. That was before I was on TikTok. Oh. What's your diet like right now, Shelley? What do they let you eat? I hadn't even thought about what they might turn your diet into. I don't really have a lot that I can't eat. I don't want, nothing tastes good to me anymore. I do think something's different about food. It all tastes the same to me. It doesn't taste good anymore. This restaurant, they have a limited menu, which is a good thing actually. You know, restaurants with a lot of items on the menu usually means that it's not all made fresh. But they alternate their menu. And like, I forget what night of the week it was that XT and I got food from there. And I would have gotten schnitzel. And I don't know why, because I probably make better schnitzel at home. And the same with the currywurst. I probably can make that better myself than most restaurants. Oh, that is what I was doing. I was doing, you know, forks over knives, the whole food plant-based diet. I did that for not quite 2 years. And it did lower my first time ever, my cholesterol was 170, because my cholesterol is usually, right now, it's like 330. And yeah, because when I don't eat, and I haven't eaten carbs I've done that a lot, on and off, but I've been off the carbs for probably a couple of years. Because what I realized when I did the whole food plant-based diet. And it actually took a year and a half of eating no animal products whatsoever before it actually lowered my cholesterol. But I kept having trouble with my blood sugar, Shelley, when I was doing that. Not to mention my hair was falling out. Apparently I need more protein than the average mammal. But yeah, and I kept having trouble with my blood sugar because and it's not that it can't be done. You absolutely can eat that way and balance all of that stuff. I just wasn't able to do it. And so I went back to my no carb thing. Because, that whole food plant-based diet is actually the only thing that they know of that actually can reverse congestive heart failure. It actually can reverse that. But then what I found out is, well, you can't reverse it if you haven't removed the source of it. They're not ever going to be able. But it is the biggest thing that made the biggest difference in how I felt. I did feel good when I was eating that diet. I will tell you that. I did feel better. But I didn't lose weight eating that diet. Didn't lose weight at all. And that was the biggest thing that I needed to do, was get some weight off to get my blood pressure and my heart rate and everything down. And plus I was borderline diabetic. My A1C was always hovered right around 7. And my A1C now is 5.2, I think. Either 5.1 or 5.2. It kind of fluctuates back and forth. But anyway. And remember I told you guys I was supposed to lose, or nobody told me this, that I was going to lose another 10 or 15 pounds to get my blood pressure down so that it's 90/70 like they want it to be. Well, I had 10 of those pounds off. And then I decided to have like 3 carb days and decided to eat a half gallon of butter pecan ice cream. And I don't know what all else I ate. Alexis started it. When Alexis came on Thursday, she brought a bag of chips in the house. Which Michael's like, I've never seen anybody eat a whole bag of chips before. And Alexa said, here, Mom, you want the dip to go with these? And I'm like, oh, there's dip? And I didn't eat the whole bag then, but I will tell you that sometime during the night, I got up and got the bag of potato chips because I woke up with chip crumbs in my bed. Yeah, it is. 5.2 is good. I'm not even borderline diabetic anymore. Oh, yeah, I even had the dip in there with me, I think, Diane. But yeah, I did eat. Alexa's like, Mom, what happened to the bag of chips? What was left of it? I'm like, I don't know, but there's a lot of chip crumbs in my bed. Yeah, I can't have stuff like that in the house. And I ate 2 boxes of those bakery cookies. I'm talking like in 3 days. 2 boxes of bakery cookies, a half gallon of butter pecan ice cream, Alexis's and another bag of chips that I wasn't going to eat of hers because they were jalapeno. Well, I ended up eating those as well. And something else. What else? The cookies, the ice cream. Because when like Carter said, because I had a carb day when they were here, Carter was on the phone with Alexis because they're always saying, Grandma, that has carbs. I'm like, I know, I'm having carbs today. And I can have some carbs. Carter was on the phone with Alexis. He said, Mom, Grandma's eating every carb in this house. I had a root beer float with Carter. And then I decided that wasn't enough, so I made an orange crush float. Ate that. I don't even remember what all. whatever I was eating but yeah, when I decide that I'm going to eat carbs, I will decide what it is that I want enough to eat. Because that's the only thing that tastes good to me anymore is that. And so I will buy like a pecan pie and whipped cream or ice cream. And then that's all I'll eat for 3 days. Because that's what I do, is I'll section out 3 days. Well, you eat like that for 3 days, you're going to gain a pound or two. And I think I put back on like 5 pounds of the 10 that I lost. But now I've back down to, I've only got 7 more to lose of the 15. Because I took it back off. And Michael was saying that, oh, Diane, I'm like a drug addict with sugar. I'm telling you, I can't eat a bowl of ice cream. In fact, I bought this, I love pistachio gelato. I bought the container of that and left it at my Aunt Iva's house so that I would only eat a little bit of it, and then when I'd go over there, I would eat a little bit of it. Because if it's here, I am eating it. And I bought that half gallon of butter pecan ice cream, and I'm not kidding you, I'm going to say I ate 80% of it the first day. And then there was like just a little bit left the second day, and I ate it. Yeah, I guarantee you it wreaks havoc with my sugar too. You eat junk. Yeah, you can eat vegan and still eat junk food. Absolutely, you can. I used to tell my Aunt Mildred, she would say, "Can you have this?" And I'm like, "Mildred, if it had a mother and a father, I can't eat it. Did that have a mother and a father?" Well, I don't know. Did it? It's, It's like, yes, a fish had a mother and a father. A carrot did not. But yeah. It did not help my blood sugar either, Shelley. It didn't help my blood sugar. It didn't help me lose weight. It did get my cholesterol down. And my cholesterol... You know what, Diane? I'm going to say that about food with me. I'm just so over it. There's nothing that sounds good to me. The only thing that sounds good to me is like a big fat pie or Oreos or cake or even Little Debbie's. I love Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies. That's about the only Little Debbie that I like. But I love that crap. And potato chips. Lord have mercy, I don't even know how many potato chips I could eat. I bet I could eat a 55-gallon drum of potato chips. Absolutely love that stuff. Love it. But I can't stop. I don't like to go, when my Aunt Jackie always asks me to spend the night. My Aunt Jackie's in the hospital, by the way. I don't know exactly what's wrong with her. But she always wants me to come over there and spend the night. I can't go spend the night over there. I've gone and spent the night over there before and ate 2 bags of those little tiny candy bars. Because that's all she's got. I mean, that's why she's in the shape that she's in. Because over there, it's like a daggone, she has those Lazy Susan things sitting on her kitchen table, and it's full of all kinds of cakes, like Little Debbie's and Hostess and all kinds of cakes and cookies and stuff like that. I call it the carousel of death because it's one of those lazy, it looks like something they have like sitting at a convenience store right there next to the cash register with, last minute purchases. Hi! Hi, Effie. Hi, so good to see you. I hope I didn't miss you. But yeah. Oh yeah, donuts. The vegan donuts. But yeah, see, Shelly, those are still carbs. But yeah, you can eat vegan. I could make cakes and they would be vegan. There was a lot of stuff that I learned to make. I made my own veggie burgers. That was what I used to do, cooking videos on YouTube. I would do them of the whole food plant-based diet. Oh, the Dalai Lama is live right now. I follow the Dalai Lama on Facebook, and he goes live on Facebook. Hi, Devasky. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Divas Kentucky or Diva Sky. Could be Divas Kentucky or it could be Diva Sky. 1974. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I do. I like mostly the Little Debbie oat milk. I'm talking about this stuff now, and I'm thinking I'm going to need to get up from here and go over to Wendy's and get myself a Frosty, because that's what I will do. I will buy the little container of ice cream, or like go to Wendy's and get a Frosty, because then that's all I'll eat. You know what I mean? Then I don't eat, because if I buy a half gallon of ice cream, I'm eating a half gallon of ice cream. That's what I'm going to be eating. And the thing about it is, it makes me really, really sick when I do that. I mean, I was in some severe pain last weekend because I ate all that crap. Because I'm not, number one, I don't eat that much. And I overeat when I do that. And I don't usually overeat. And here's what's really bad for me, because I have lost my taste for eggs. And eggs are like one of my staples. You know, that boiled eggs are my snack. And I boil eggs a dozen at a time, and I have they don't even taste good to me anymore. I don't even like the farm eggs from Ivan Walters chickens, which is what I usually like. I thought that's what it was. I thought, well, I just don't like these farm eggs anymore. They're too eggy. That's what my friend Karen says. So I bought store-bought eggs. I didn't like them either. I don't like them anymore. Yeah, I love Frosties. I do too, Diane. I like the chocolate Frosties. And I would rather have a Frosty than a milkshake. But now I'm craving a Frosty because it's convenient. I can jump in the car and be at Wendy's in 2 minutes. And I don't even have to get out of the car. Oh. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. Because if I weren't trying to get this other 7 pounds off, I would do it. But what happens if you eat more than 30 grams of carbs, it throws you out of ketosis. And when I'm trying to lose weight, I actually want to stay in ketosis. And if I go do that, it'll be 3 days. It'll take 3 days to get that out of my system. So I'm not going to do that right now. I just did it last weekend. Last weekend is when I blew myself out. But yeah. And so when I get off of here, I'm going to eat. I've got a baked chicken, like a whole baked chicken, that I'm going to slice some pieces of the breast and have myself some baked chicken. But you know what? The only kind of foods that taste good just by theirself like that to me is like kielbasa and salami and all of that stuff that I need to stay away from. You know, a piece of baked chicken by itself. I mean, I could make some vegetables with it, but I don't want to. I could have some Brussels sprouts with it. Yeah. And the only crunchy thing is pork rinds, like nothing but salt and fat. Yeah. I kind of do something similar, Shelly, for a reboot. But yeah, and my coffee, finally today I had a good cup of coffee. The coffee situation, coffee and tea situation around here is jacked up. I'm going to tell you. There's a whole shelf in my refrigerator that has nothing but coffee and loose teas, like the blackberry teas and stuff like that. But I don't keep them in their bags. I put them in jars, like canning jars, only they're not canning jars. They're like old spaghetti jars and stuff like that. Well, the coffee that I drink, my everyday coffee, is Highlander Grog. Well, almost all of the jars have an HG on the top of them for Highlander Grog, because when I order them, like when they go on sale on Amazon, I will order, because sometimes they're almost $9 a bag, sometimes they're $6 something a bag. When it goes on sale for $6 something a bag, I may buy 5 or 6 or more bags of it, whatever I can afford. I will buy it up when it's on sale. And so I don't leave it in the bags. I open the bags and pour it in jars so that they're in jars. I like things in jars, like dried beans. All the pantry shelves, all the dried beans are in jars, and they're not big jars. They're like jars that spaghetti sauce and salsa and stuff, pickles and stuff like that. So there's not big jars, so there's a lot of them. And anyway, apparently because I have other coffees. I don't just have Highlander Grog. I have whole bean coffee. I have a bunch of different Starbucks coffees and all kinds of coffees. But apparently, I didn't always pay attention to the HG on the lid, because I can't smell well enough anymore for whatever reason. Used to, I could just smell it, because the Highlander Grog has butterscotch and rum is what's in it. Just the hint of it. I can't smell it anymore. So it's a surprise to me when I open a jar and make my pot of coffee in the morning, whether it's going to be like, or it's going to be like, eh. But now that I have found a jar that actually has Highlander Grog in it, I will have good coffee for about a week until that jar runs out. And I even have Iva's coffee, because they have whole bean Starbucks coffee in my refrigerator, because they don't have a coffee grinder. So I grind 2 bags at a time and take to them, which is another thing that my Uncle Walter picked up when he brought the overalls, was 2 jars. And I put that in jars. 2 jars of coffee. Oh, well. I guess we should go. Unless you guys just want to sit here, because I need to lay down, I think. Hey, Shelly, you're still the number 2 viewer, and Diane's number 3. My alternate account's probably still well, actually, Katie was number 1 there for just a little bit. Hi, Butterfly Days. Thank you for coming back. We are actually getting ready to go. And maybe, I always say this every time that I do this, even though it's just us here, so that if I want to use this like for a video, well, since I'm wearing my overalls, I might actually use this for a video. Like I always say, I want this to be your favorite TT show every Thursday night. So I'll see you next week. Same time, same station. Love y'all. And Diane, we will have one more. We'll have one more live before I leave. One more. Next Thursday will be our last live, maybe for 2 weeks. Depends on whether I can do a live from there or not. What is that? They must buy coins. Huh? What? Oh yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say about Zach. Oh yeah, I did a video, where I'm actually singing again. Actually, I did one with Zach Black, but it's not very good. And I did one with Kevin Lee. I was singing Wicked Game with him. As a matter of fact. Good night. Love y'all. I'll see you next week. And Shelly, I will tell you next week if I'm going to be able to. Hopefully I will get to see you while I'm in Ohio. I'm going to do my best to see you. Love you guys. Bye-bye.